So my name is Chris. I'm the CEO of the Heroes Foundation. I just want to thank everyone who registered and who has attended our first monthly conversation with the City of Dallas, partnering with the City of Dallas, Texas Veterans Commission, Department of Veteran Affairs, and my good friends at JoinTheYOUnion. This was actually an idea that came from Kevin and Raphael from the City of Dallas, who will be introduced in a second, on how we can bring the DFW community together in recovering from the impact of the pandemic. The goal was to create a centralized event that could allow us all to kind of come together and address certain topics on employment, from recruiting to retention, job seekers, how to find a job, mock interviews, resume writing, introduction to companies, but also small businesses. How do we help small businesses recover, as 70% have been impacted by the pandemic? But before we get into the introductions, I'd like to also thank T. Hulling from the Texas Veterans Commission. So she's, due to scheduling conflicts, she wasn't able to be here today, but she was instrumental in getting this off the ground. So T, if you're listening, I appreciate all your help, appreciate all your efforts. Thank you for everything you've done.
We'll see you in May.
Yeah, we'll see you in May. So let's go ahead and get started with introducing our speakers. If you'd like, just introduce yourselves, share a little bit about your experience, your background, service. And with Kevin, I know this kind of was created. We were at Kraft Foods at a hiring event about a year ago, 12 months ago, and we had talked about this. This was something that was very passionate with the City of Dallas. It was something you've done in the past. How do we help our DFW community, one, from the employment aspect, but also from the entrepreneur side, get back together? So.
Absolutely. So I'm Kevin Belcher. I'm a senior human resource analyst with the City of Dallas. I'm also a veteran as well, and being a veteran, we do have a veteran employee resource group there at the City of Dallas. We think it's very key and instrumental in the recruitment of our fellow veterans that's out in the Metroplex. Yes, and me and Chris, we met a wonderful guy, very driven, focused and driven, and a very lovable guy. He loves the community, and when we were actually talking about doing something like this, we wanted to kind of put together some big job fair and just try to do something to help the community. And then as we began to brainstorm, this was derived and birthed. And so, we just felt like it was important to reach out to our community and do what we can do to make a difference. And because there's a lot of companies out there that are struggling from the pandemic, and there are some that are getting back on their feet. And of course, certainly the small businesses, matter of fact, a lot of the small businesses actually went out of business within this last 2 years that we've been experiencing, just the different challenges with the pandemic. So we thought that it would be a great idea to bring a platform, something that we can come together and invite different entities to join forces with us and just talk about it. And that's one of the things, that's our primary goal here today. We just want to have coffee. Pardon me for a minute. And talk about it. So that's what we're doing.
Awesome.
And Jen, with JoinTheYOUnion?
Yeah, so thanks for having me. So I am a small business owner, a military-friendly employer, and also manage the customer success for JoinTheYOUnion.com, which is a software that's challenging and changing the status quo. So when you're in a closed ecosystem, affinity group, like a veterans community, it's important that resources be available. And so we're a software that connects small and local business where trust and credibility is valued based on that premise. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. And Dylan, excited to have you here, sir.
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me. My name is Dylan Westmoreland. I was a seven-year United States Air Force veteran. and recently got out in 2021. I'm also a functional manager at Fuse Solutions. So love the job. It was definitely in the transition process from the civilian world from the military to the civilian world. It was definitely challenging and kind of scary in a way. So I really think that this is great that we can all sit down and talk about, military veterans, transition into the civilian world and just, what we can do to help them.
Perfect. And I know most on the call are very familiar with me, but quick introduction. My name is Chris Montonya. So I started the Daniel and Tabitha Montoya Heroes Foundation to honor my father, who is a Vietnam veteran and a very proud Marine, and my late uncle, who is a Vietnam vet and Army. And my goal 5 years ago when I started my nonprofit was to change the way we recruit and we retain. How do we become more intentional on how we create, from a corporate side, military and veteran initiatives to actually create opportunities more than just entry-level positions, but how do we create an infrastructure to be able to recruit to mid-level, senior level, and management straight out of the military. Taking on contractual projects with Interstate Batteries, with Domino's, with Kraft Foods, Prime Source. So very excited, very happy the direction that we're going. I'm very excited to be part of it because I believe that it's going to take a lot of us coming together, not just talking about it, but from how we move forward month to month with this series. Events, how do we become more intentional on supporting companies that want to hire veterans? So how do we start helping veteran-owned small businesses succeed? But not only that, how do we help companies identify small businesses from the supplier diversity portals and give them opportunities at bids or opportunities to support big companies, I know like Boeing and other organizations. So before we go ahead, don't forget, this is very interactive. So if you have questions, please drop it in the chat. We'll be happy to get to it.
I'm going to get to them over here. I'm going to try. I promise. Drop your questions in. And it's meant to be interactive. It's, community discussion and what would you want to see out of these going forward.
Absolutely. So we're going to get the interrogation started. So one of the questions I had was directed to Kevin, but Dylan, you're more than welcome to kind of to respond. But what do you think the biggest obstacle job seekers are facing right now post-pandemic?
That the seekers are facing?
Yes, sir.
He's an employer.
You're right.
You can answer from the employer side.
Honestly, just kind of getting the buzz from different entities. A lot of the companies are really having problems finding talent. And it's not that the positions are not there, because there are a lot of positions out there right now. Matter of fact, just a good time to plug. We're actually having, the city of Dallas is doing a major job, a hiring event, not a job fair, a hiring event today where they will actually be hiring managers on the spot, making job offers at the convention center all day long from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So if you're available, come out. By all means, there'll be free parking at the convention center, and there are just a lot of different positions that's available. You can go to the website, www.dallascityhall.com. I believe there's going to be a flyer or something posted there, but don't even worry about the website. Come out, and if you need employment today, come out. Even if you have been touched by the system, we have our fresh start positions as well for those that may have had challenges with their background or something like that of that nature. But we do have set aside positions for those that have been touched by the system. So check us out, come out and be a part of it. But I think, I don't know, as it relates from the seeker side, I think the seekers just have to get out there and go get it. Because from the buzz I'm getting from most of the companies that I associate with, and I attend a lot of different job fairs, and everybody is saying the same thing. Hey, look, we need help. We need help. There are help wanted signs all around the city of Dallas. Not just with the city of Dallas, but other entities that are wanting to fill positions. We just need people to come out and employ themselves.
Yeah, I think also from a job seeker standpoint, I think really being able to translate their skills into a proper resume, I think is another thing that, especially for veterans transitioning from the military to the civilian world, is really getting with either a good company to structure the resume, or really have these classes available to be able to structure a resume. Because if the employer can't see their management skills that they've received in the military translate to the civilian world, it could be easily get passed up because it's not being translated correctly too. So I think that's big from an employer.
That's an excellent point too, Dylan. You're so right about that. And check your resources out. I would always say, because there are so many resources that the military provides, the VA provides, and they do have they have some resources to help you transition. And actually transition those skills and make it simple for people to understand that, hey, this is what you're getting. And when you, and I know that, we're speaking a lot on veterans because we are veterans. And veterans are a good hire. One thing I can say about veterans, we were the type of people, once we raised our hand and joined the service, whichever branch it was, we didn't have an option to work. We had to work. Matter of fact, we couldn't hardly even take off. I can tell you, to this day, in the last 30 years, I can't even recall a time where I had called in, and I'm literally telling you the truth, because I guess it was a mind thing where they said, hey, look, you ain't gonna be sick. You can be sick after you go to work, but today you're gonna report. And matter of fact, you couldn't quit. You couldn't quit the military either. If you quit, even if you tried to quit and went AWOL and snuck out, they're gonna send somebody to find you to bring you back to work. So we learned real fast that, you know what, working ain't an option. You just got to do it. You got to do it, and I think I'm really thankful for that type of skill set being embedded in me. The ethic the work ethic that I learned while I was in the military has carried throughout all these years, because to this day, I mean, I've been with the city now going on 15 years. I've never had one day where I called in sick. Now, one day, my sick time is just building and building and building. Even when I was sick, I continued to go to work. Now there was time where I went and I was so sick I had to leave, but I showed up.
Hey, Kevin, you made a great point. Resources available for job seekers, but you also make a good point from trouble with recruiting talent. Because I know at the companies that I contract at, it is a struggle. You can't just post and pray anymore. What resources are available to companies to help recruit talent? Because I know we had talked about, I think it was the Texas Workforce Commission, but how do they get in contact? What do they provide?
Yes, and that's you raised a good question there, Chris. Workforce, I think a lot of companies don't utilize them like they should. They are there for you. And in a lot of instances, I wish T was here too.
We miss T.
Yeah. Well, tune in next month. She'll be here next month.
She's on the hook now.
But there's a lot of resources tapping into Texas Veteran Commission and tapping into Texas Workforce Commission, because they will set up job fairs for you. They will send their people out to help with those job fairs. You can actually call them and say, hey, look, I got these X amount of openings. I need you to post in your database. If you really knew how large the Texas Workforce database was, it would blow your mind. Because here's the thing, anybody that loses their job and file for unemployment, they automatically are plugged into that database. And so while they're getting unemployment, workforce is like saying, hey, look, we got to get you a job. So it's their job to get you a job, to help you find employment. So you want to talk to your workforce commission and send those positions to them. We send a list every week. We send over 100 positions to workforce commission and say, hey, look, we need these positions filled. And it does help. It does help a lot. And another thing, even with small businesses, a lot of times what I found has been real popular is doing little pop-up events. Do some type of pop-up event, get some pastries, some hot dogs, something, very affordable, and say, hey, look, we're gonna set up a tent and we're gonna send out.
That's what we did at Craft.
That's exactly what we did. We set up tents. We had hot dogs and hamburgers or lunch boxes, and we had a lot of people to come out for those jobs. And tell them the results of that, Chris.
No, I think the greatest result was the company coming together, Craft, and partnering with the city of Dallas for our hiring event. So we were struggling at that time with the deficiency of employment and the labor gap. We were, Lunchables here are very popular in Garland. They make and manufacture them. It's the primary product at Kraft Foods in Garland. And we just didn't have the labor or the workforce to be able to support the demand. So we decided to think outside the box, and one of them was to partner with Kevin and Raphael, who will be here next month as well. He's the president of the Dallas Veteran ERG. To work together, join forces, and how do we get visibility and awareness out, and how do we start offering these open positions and these career opportunities to job seekers. And that partnership, we made it fun, we made it engaging, and it turned out pretty well. We ended up doing pretty well that day.
I have a question.
Yep.
From the audience. So Danny Rojas. So I'll read his question. Thanks, Danny, for writing in. Senior manager at JCPenney, veteran of 9 years, and he wanted to ask, what would you say to veterans who are transitioning and trying to overcome the bias that comes with hiring leaders who don't have ties to the military? They don't understand the skill sets that the veterans bring. And I think, you're recently transitioned in the last couple of years. What would you say to that?
I think that being able to translate, and really like the question, being able to translate the leadership from the military to somebody that might not quite understand the leadership abilities of in the civilian world. And I think it goes back to, as far as the resume writing and things like that, is really getting a team together, that can really craft your resume, and then so you can translate, hey, these leadership abilities that I had in the military, I led a team of 6 or I led a team of 7, that can translate into running a team on the floor, the operations floor, like whether it's at a warehouse, whether it's at JCPenney's, in a management position, that these leadership skills can transition.
So, little technical difficulty here. This thing over here.
I'd like to also piggyback off that, because I've had 2 different experiences. One, since I am a civilian, my father is the veteran, a lot of it I don't get. I've never experienced it in as much as I try. It's never going to click, because I wasn't part of that environment. But my goal has been to create these initiatives, these veteran hiring initiatives within companies. So the approach I've taken is, one, utilizing resources like City of Dallas, but also the Texas Veterans Commission with T. They'll actually go on site and they have training. They'll do corporate trainings, and I've done that. I've done lunch and learns for different companies. Where we come and we take the recruiters and HR partners and have the Texas Veterans Commission or the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, my partnership with them, and we bring them on site. And they do a great job, and they have takeaways, they have tangible assets that they can give your recruiters and say, this is what it means, this is the acronyms it means, this is what, they're when they transitioned out with, what that means if it's a entry-level manager position, what they did in the military. The other experience I had was a brief time at Southwest Airlines, and they did it fantastic. Southwest has a great military program led by Tina Clatton, and Scott Powell and Derek Wisenhunt, in which, with the Microsoft MSSA program, as they transition out, they take this 12-week certification for IT. It's an IT certification. Well, Southwest pairs a recruiter with a veteran.
Yeah.
So you are doing these recruiting, kind of these interviews, these phone screens through Microsoft Teams, and they're done with the recruiter that's a civilian, but also a veteran internal to Southwest Airlines. I loved it. I thought it was
That's
fantastic.
good,
It was
yes.
a great way for the veteran who's already in there can kind of decipher a lot of the lingo for the recruiter, but the recruiter kind of learns. So this way, when they see those resumes, or when they talk to someone that's newly transitioned out, or they're able to kind of put it together and be able to qualify their experience. Because at the end of the day, a recruiter's job is to pre-qualify the candidate to make sure it's a fit for the job. Because we don't want to send unqualified candidates to the hiring manager, because then we get in trouble. So the more we can educate our recruiters and train our recruiters and have these, I think it helps kind of lessen the gap in which we can present a candidate to the hiring managers. Would you
Yeah.
agree?
I agree, 100.
Because I know you're a hiring manager. I know at the
Right.
city of Dallas that you do a lot of hiring.
Well, I'm a former hiring manager with the city, and that you hit it spot on, Chris. It just, and that's one of the things I've learned, especially with the larger companies. It's important to have a veteran employee resource group because you have a lot of, with the city, we have over 1,000 veterans, well over 1,000 veterans that's employed there. And, it does help to have those veterans in place, because once you have different veterans in those different positions, then the hiring managers start to really understand what it's like to hire a veteran and what veterans bring to the table. And again, one of those key things is stick-to-itness. We not, of course, we had assignments where we would have to be a certain place for so long and then transfer to another place, but at the same time, we never left the military unless it just wasn't for them. But for the most part, there's a lot of people that retired from the military and stayed a long time, put into service, and we just didn't move around. And again, in the last 30 years, I've only had 2 jobs. I just don't bounce around. Some people love that. But for a lot of veterans, we used to just be in planet because that's what we were used to. So, just make every effort to, and if the resources is there again, if you ever have any type of questions about hiring veterans, you can just call the VA. There's a plethora of information out there, even for the small business. And if there are veterans out there that's listening right now that want to start a business, the Small Business Association, the SBA, has partnered with the VA, and they have a whole boot camp at the University of Texas of Arlington that you can tap into, and they give you everything from, they have similar webinars all the time, probably weekly, where you can, they have a Think Ahead Thursday, Think Tank Thursday, where you can enter this webinar, learn everything from A to Z about business, learn how to get the government contracts, the bidding, everything. It's all there for you, for the veterans. So you just got to tap into those resources.
Maybe we could look ahead to May and work with the SBA and bring focus our May on veteran entrepreneurship, how to start a business or strengthen their existing business. So that would be a great topic.
It could be one of these things too, where you get ahead of the curve as far as working with local bases. Like, if it was like a company that wanted to work with like a local base that they're not veterans yet, but they're looking to separate from the military to really, hey, these are the requirements for like management positions, and this is what we require as far as education wise, so they kind of can take advantage of their of their GI Bill and know how to do it. That's one thing that I specifically immediately started working on as soon as I was in the military. Whether it was the bachelor's degree or a master's degree, and then working on to another master's degree. It's like, when I got out, I didn't realize how much business, like when you're looking for jobs, like when people like, looking for people with MBAs or looking people for, business backgrounds. And then, when I got out, then I was like, maybe a master's in this wouldn't have been as effective as an MBA, and then.
I have bad mic. I have a couple questions. So you started taking advantage of the GI Bill in the service.
Yeah.
That was really important. But tell us a little bit about post-transition, where that took you, what you were doing, and ultimately why you ended up working for a small local business.
Yeah. So during the transition, I just finished my master's in forensic psychology. So I was going to, the dream was to work for the Bureau, and then I ended up finding Fuse and then working for Fuse.
What did you do in between?
Yeah, in between I did music. I did music on the weekends, and that's kind of a pastime that I
heard it was a
enjoy
little
doing.
more than that.
I heard it's a little more than that.
Yeah.
Just being all humbled over there.
I heard there was something like American Idol.
Yeah, I did. So when I was deployed in 2020 or 2019 and 2020, I auditioned for American Idol.
I thought I remember his face.
Yeah. No, I didn't make it. I didn't end up making it to Hollywood, but it was a cool opportunity to be able to take part in that while I was actually still active duty in the military, about to get out. So I know after that portion passed and I was able to come down to Texas and play shows and work a full-time job, really just being able to use the GI Bill so I finished one master's to go on to a different master's and take advantage of that. But a lot of people don't realize, like, you hear about them in the military, but they're not like right in front of you, almost like, hey, because sometimes it's easier for people to understand that when it's right in front of them, like, hey, this is what you need to do to get to this position. So but yeah, no, I definitely think that maybe it could be like one of these things, working with military members that could be transitioning within 6 months, working with their education centers on base to really like set up workshops to, hey, this is what you need, education requirements and things like that. That could be definitely something that, because education centers at every base are looking for something like that.
Yeah. Also, I'm sorry.
No, keep it going.
I was just going to add on, since you're on the educational piece. Not only is there the post 9/11 situation, but there's also LinkedIn Learning. A lot of people don't even know LinkedIn Learning offers to veterans free courses, certifications for a whole year. You can go in and take as many courses as you like for free. As long as you're a veteran, you have to register, and that information is on My Healthy Vet on the VA's website. You just have to go to benefits and find it, but it's there. The resources are there, and you can get certified in just about anything. And there are a number of schools right here in the surrounding area that also, if you're interested in just going into IT, in the IT field, they offer different training, certifications, security, just the whole 9 yards that you can plug into, and those things are actually free for veterans. So there's a lot of different resources out there. You may not be that college type person and just want to get you a cert. And in a lot of instances, depending on what field it is, a lot of times the certification weighs more than a degree. depending on what it is, because those certs, you have to continue every year to update them, so you're stay up on everything that they're required to have. So it's important to tap into the resources, and you just got to know them.
And that's great, because as an employer, and a lot of the contracts that I have, LinkedIn is probably one of the best ways that we find a recruit.
Danny Rojas agrees with everybody. He said LinkedIn is clutch.
Yes.
He also had a really, really good suggestion. I think he's going to be voluntold right here in front of everybody. You're going to join us in May, maybe June, to bring in maybe some marketing professionals as well to talk about resources and starting businesses and things like that. So thanks for that suggestion, but he definitely agreed with you on the LinkedIn.
Well, kind of pivoting into the small business and marketing aspect, post-pandemic, because I know we've been in discussions, and I know we've been talking about in July, kind of around July, summertime, doing a shop local here in the DFW area where we all come together to support small veteran-owned businesses, diverse businesses, or just small businesses overall.
Yes, absolutely.
How, what at this point, what resources are available from the city of Dallas to support small businesses or businesses, entrepreneurs that are interested in building their business?
So we did just open up a small business. I don't have all of the information right now. I should have gotten that information. But there's another show coming. So
We'll get to that in a minute.
I will make sure I have that information. But you can go on to the website. The information is there on the website. You just have to go in and navigate and find it. But go in the search bar. Just go log onto our website and look in the search bar and put in SBA, because we just started a new small business for
You can't see online.
department.
So thanks, Melvin. He's putting out WWE wrestling pictures, but he is also excited to be on here with Brings Home
Oh,
partner.
Awesome.
Hey, Melvin, I do owe you a phone call, sir.
I have a question for everybody. Would you like to see these events stay virtual? Would you like to see them hybrid into in-person? Switch over to all in-person? I mean, there's so many different ways that we can go. We don't have to solve that today. Just drop it in the chat. Appreciate everybody's engagement. I mean, this has really been cool.
Yeah.
I would like to see hybrid. I would love to start seeing this come actually at locations.
Like real people.
Yes, we can still have the the
Dylan,
ones
will
who
you
can't
play
make
some
it.
music for us?
It can be arranged.
But if the city of Dallas can have an on-site hiring event today, then that's room that we can all kind of start coming back
Yeah.
into, and kind of the networking and meeting one another and being able to kind of build your network, the buddy system. Because I am an advocate of that. I
Yeah.
think
Absolutely.
even when you're talking about companies, the best thing you can do from an inclusive aspect, it's not just a recruiting strategy that you need. You need the inclusive strategy. What are you doing after they get hired? That from the candidate experience to the onboarding to the new hire stage, but when they get started on, how you set them for success. And I believe in the buddy system. I believe in networking. So long story longer, I kind of started coming back together and having these in person as well as those that can attend, find their way to continue it virtually as well, a hybrid structure. What do you think, Dylan?
No, I think that'd be a good idea. I mean, you always got to love in person. So.
Everybody's dropping in lots of suggestions, so I think we're going to have a lot to go through. I think hybrid is the winner. But thanks, keep dropping all the suggestions. We're going to go through these, make it better for May, keep going forward. So it's awesome.
Perfect. And then I know in the military, I think it's almost 50-50 split if based on, and it, my numbers are a little scattered, but a lot of military wannabe entrepreneurs. Are there resources available to those that are transitioning out to become small businesses, or, what did you experience? Is it?
I think there is information there, but it's not really well shared.
Readily available,
yeah,
not clear.
Yeah, not clear. So there is opportunities out there, but I think, like I said, like with the career development centers out there at bases and things, it can always get better. And I know they, bringing in different people that could push that information out to veterans, because I know a lot of people that would have loved to start their own business. They don't want to, they want to work for themselves, or they're tired of reporting to somebody. So I know that was, but yeah, no. So that, I think it's just not as clear as it should be, but there's definitely room for improvement there, and that's something that all the companies could reach out to and do that.
And one of the places that you can start is with the UTA. Again, as I mentioned earlier,
It's Patrick Alcorn that runs it, doesn't it?
Yeah, Patrick, exactly. So it's the Veteran Business Outreach Center. Just Google UTA Veteran Business Outreach Center, and then you can register. You can register with your email, and from that point, they'll start sending you emails every week on different webinars about business startup. In their boot camps, they usually have a annual boot camp conference here in the Arlington area every year as well, where you can just come interact and just learn everything from business writing, from how to start the business, again, how to get capital gain, a financial aspect of it. I mean, everything you need to know about starting a business, and how to get the finances, the whole 9 yards. It's right there for you. You just got to plug in. And again, there's a lot of information that you don't know about if you don't seek it. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I wish it wasn't so like that. It should be one of those things when you're getting ready to transition out, that you have a whole sheet of, just everything should be right in your face. Hey, look, this is for you. But unfortunately, it's not like that. So a lot of the stuff I found, I had to go in. I would take a lot of time digging into the veterans website. And I always started out with benefits. and then I would go to education. Then I would go to business, because they have a lot of franchises that partner with the VA to give you opportunities to come in and buy your own franchise at a real discounted rate. So there's a host of information out there, and it's right there in one site, but it's so big, and you just have to go into and really get into that My Healthy Vet or the VA website to find all that information. But it's there. You just got to seek it.
And to kind of piggyback off that, I got a question for you, Jen. Being a successful small business owner with Fuse, as well as JoinTheYOUnion, as we recover from the post-pandemic, and as we've gotten more of the digital route, what advice would you give current entrepreneurs in this current environment, the current marketplace? Which is a pretty broad question, but
I could go two ways. Be the PC Jen, the in-your-face Jen. In-your-face Jen. Running a business is so much more than social media, Instagram business, Facebook business. Those are outstanding ways to market your business. That is not building your business. And the pandemic really showed some gaps in how people perceive that operating a business should go. And one of those was the round of PPP funding. It sounded fantastic. Small business owners can apply for this, you can get it, you can get help. I don't have the exact percentage, but it was way too high for comfort. People didn't have their business structured properly. You couldn't go in and say, hey, look at all my followers. I need some money. And so, my advice is to use those business resources available to you to structure your business so it can be not only operational, it can be sustainable. It becomes a true business asset. And that just simply, it doesn't exist right now, readily exist out there in the market. So that's what JoinTheYOunion's trying to solve. Okay, I'll ask the next question. Ways to give and get. I know that this is all great. There's tons of resources, but we also Most of us are working in the community with local nonprofits, both local and national. What ways are there to give and get, but more importantly, any ways that guarantee the money that you're donating goes to the veterans. I mean, has anybody walked over to you, Dylan, and said, hey, this is for you?
No, there's no, there's no way. There's nothing right now that guarantees that, but that's definitely a gap that needs to be filled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think it was as soon as the pandemic kicked in, I was giving recovery grants to veteran families that were impacted. I was even giving Christmas trees, and I do this every
you
year.
literally put it in their hands.
Yes, and from a nonprofit aspect, there's different ways of making sure that they receive those, and some of them are intangible. Some of them are like, I know the Texas Veterans Commission, Texas Workforce Commission are funded by the Department of Labor. They're intangible, but it's the education piece. For me as a nonprofit, I want to make sure that I directly impact someone's life. I directly help, and I do. During Christmas is one of my big giving where we feed the homeless veterans. With Raphael, what was it, a couple years ago, we went to Liberty House in Fort Worth, and we had the police escort.
Yes. Yeah.
You and Raphael got us a police escort. We went, we donated, we put gave food. But is it really just vetting out the nonprofits? I know there's a couple different organizations that do that, but just understanding what nonprofits do and making sure that they have the heart in the right place.
So I think we need a purpose and a mission for these. We should make a local impact pledge. Something along the lines of working together to find ways to keep those donations in the pockets of the veterans in need in this closed ecosystem. Find a way to get real business training to those entrepreneurs or the ones that are starting their business. So I think we could come up with a couple.
And that's why I partnered with Texas Veterans Commission as well as JoinTheYOunion, because I think one aspect I really wanted to focus on employment. With the other aspect, how do we support and help grow and provide capital to small businesses? 'Cause education. Provide a business plan, proposal, the strong infrastructure.
We need a Main Street MBA, not just a Wall Street MBA.
Absolutely.
I'm serious.
Yes.
So I'm looking at all these people online too, very interactive. So we'll get it together for May. I think we have a good crowd here.
Yeah. And Chris, I think the other thing that we had discussed about the big thing somewhere around July, that's key, because having a big event and then inviting veterans in,
Yep.
we can cover everything in one setting.
Absolutely.
It's just one of those things that we just have to do.
So we got another question too, is looking at, have there ever been any discussions or sessions, not just to network for veterans, but have taught how to maximize those networking sessions? So that was another suggestion from Danny, who apparently is going to be our guest in May. Everybody welcome Danny.
Welcome to the team.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, I think, we'll close out with some community announcements. Dylan, do you have any music you want to plug?
I have some, just released a couple songs recently on Spotify, Apple Music, and
so we can just search up Dylan Westmoreland?
Yeah, you just look up Dylan Westmoreland and or Dylan Westmoreland Music on Instagram, and I'm there. So,
Awesome.
Don't have any shows coming up right now, but just taking some time off from that. It is very very time consuming. So, but yeah, definitely putting out some more music and stuff like that. So
awesome. How about you? I know you got one. Apparently we're all going over to the convention center right after this.
Yes, once again, we are having a citywide community hiring event, not job fair, hiring event. Today, that's today. It's going on actually right now. Is it 9 yet?
It's almost 10.
Almost 10, so yeah. Started at 9 o'clock and it will go until 4 p.m. today.
Yeah, so if you know anybody too.
Yeah, if
shoot
you
'em a
know
text.
anybody, Spread the word.
It's
Let
a
them know.
hiring event, not a
It is-
career fair.
Again, it is a hiring event, meaning that there will be actual hiring managers on the spot making job offers today. So come out and get employed. Or if you know anybody that need to be employed, spread the word. They can go to the website or just come on down. We'll probably have computers and everything set up for them to apply and this and that. But by all means, if you have already applied for the city, you definitely need to come down. If you've been waiting to hear from a hiring manager, they're waiting to hear from you.
You have all the hiring
And if
managers.
you haven't
That's right.
applied yet, make sure you put Kevin in the referral box. Do you get a referral bonus?
And you know what? I was sitting here thinking, Dylan, man, Dylan, we get.
Oh, you got your guitar?
Hey, well, not for the days event. I'm talking about for our big
Oh, yeah.
a community extravaganza that we're going to
In
do,
July. Yep.
featuring Dylan.
He's all
You've
red.
been voluntold.
Yeah, right.
Danny and Dylan, you're up.
That's right. But yes, come on out today and get employed. There's a lot of positions that need to be filled today, and you can be one of those ones to walk away with one of those positions.
And to piggyback off that, which I think I've said more times
You
than
are
not, that I
piggybacking.
am piggybacking today. For my community updates, I want to thank everyone, especially Kevin and Raphael and the Texas Veterans Commission that helped me with the Service King hiring event. So as I mentioned, that I work with local companies to help promote open jobs and make it targeted company specific. So that turnout was great. Upcoming, I'm working with Domino's. So that will be coming up. We'll be looking for all kinds of positions. They're based out of Grand Prairie, but they also have a location in Katy, Texas. But I also want to make sure, I, as Kevin's been referring to, our Shop Local campaign. So make sure you pass the word. You let them, include anyone in the May in our May series that we're going to start building up towards our Shop Local campaign. How do we, as a community, the DFW community, kind of come together to support the local businesses, small businesses, veteran-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses in recovery? How do we shop local, keep the money here, keep the money in the DFW community, and make sure that we have a thriving economy?
How do we guarantee it?
Mm-hmm.
Where the money's going?
Yep. And then I know in ending, I know Black Rifle Coffee Company has been awesome. So everyone that's attended and everyone that's registered, I know we'll send you a link for their the discounts. I know I've
If they do a survey.
Yeah.
This group didn't seem shy about giving feedback, though. And
Awesome.
since it's virtual,
Awesome.
you're getting a virtual coffee coupon from Black Rifle. So,
Yeah, it's an awesome partnership with them. They're very grateful, very thankful, very blessed that they want to go ahead and participate and be part of this as well, and give a discount for ongoing from now until this goes on.
I have for Join the Union, this is early access for this software. So this group is a special little group in the know. For us, we just launched UnionAcademy.com. It's a short course, 1 hour, for anybody new to business or starting a business. Love if you would all go and check it out and shoot feedback. You have our email because, like I said, it's early release. I mean, growing your business with Union, that's what we're set out to do. So you can also go to jointheunion.com, join our wait list. You'll be the first to know when the app rolls off when it rolls off the line, which is very shortly. So that's my big update. Anyway, everybody, you guys online were awesome. You guys have anything you want to say? We'll send you those coupons. Appreciate you guys all online. It was amazing.